Hello and welcome. My name's Kathy A, and this is a very special three-part video that I've done. Every year at the end of summer and the beginning of fall, there's an event that goes on in Massachusetts that I try to attend every single year. It's called the Big E, and it was actually originally the Eastern States Exposition. It got its new name, the Big E, in the late 60s, something like that. But I thought I would do a film over the course of a few days of visits and some photographs I took over the years. Thought I would kind of share the experience of going to the Big E for those of you who either have never been or aren't unable to attend it for health reasons, or you've moved away from the area or whatever. Bring back some fond memories. A lot of the things about the Big E are kind of exciting, and they've become kind of a yearly ritual for me. So I just want to share that with you, and I hope you enjoy it.
Where did it all begin? With trains. In the late 1890s and early 1900s, trains were now able to cross the entire United States, from east to west and north to south. Other parts of the country were shipping in their own produce and agricultural products, causing a stir of competition with New England farmers. New England was becoming more industrial, and young people were drawn to the cities and the factories, and they were losing interest in farming and agriculture. In 1916, a Springfield, Massachusetts man named Joshua L. Brooks was concerned about regional agriculture, so he decided to try to fire up interest in farming again. He convinced the directors of the National Dairy Show to come exhibit on his 175 acres of land in West Springfield. The dairy show in 1916 was such a success, Mr. Brooks built a coliseum and created what he believed would be the best regional agricultural exposition in the United States. All 6 New England states became involved: Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. The first fair in September of 1917 opened to 138,000 visitors as 122 vendors showed off their newest farming equipment and what would be the most modern farming processes of the day. More buildings were added, such as the Women's Building, which is now known as the Better Living Center, where cooking and baking competitions were held. They would also show off their quilts and rugs and other handicrafts. Each year, the fair added rides, games, and new attractions to please the growing number of visitors. It became known as the Eastern States Exposition, New England's Great State Fair. There were many famous visitors who graced the fields of the Big E, such as Bob Hope, Liberace, Arthur Godfrey, and Roy Rogers. In this 1958 insert, you can see how they advertised the shows. And more modern famous people, such as the governor and Mitt Romney. There were lots of different entertainment sources. The racetrack was here until 1967. And also the Springfield Indians hockey team had its home here in the Coliseum. They had ice there in the wintertime. It is considered the birthplace of the American Hockey League. Boston philanthropist Helen Starrow, an active trustee of the fair, wanted to have an antique historical house for a permanent display. She bought 9 buildings from Massachusetts and New Hampshire that range in date from 1767 to the 1850s. She had them dismantled and rebuilt on the fairgrounds in the complex now known as Stourton Village. Popular buildings include Gilbert Farm Homestead, the Potter Mansion, the Meeting House, the Blacksmith Shop, Stourton Tavern, Eddy Law House, and they surround a green and become the living history museum of the fair. Also for you history buffs is the Avenue of the States, which we'll be visiting a little later. Each of these 6 buildings is a replica of a New England state capitol building. They were all erected between 1919 and 1957, and they cost between $50,000 and $60,000 each to build. Every year they rotate hundreds of vendors displaying the best of the state's products, tourism, and industry. An interesting side note about these buildings is that each state owns its own building and land, so you actually are in each state when you visit them. Tragedy struck in 1938 as all of New England was devastated by the hurricane. The Big E grounds were also victims of this terrible storm. World War II also affected the Big E, and it did not have the event during the World War II as the Coliseum was used to store provisions for the soldiers. In 2011, the Big E grounds were used for emergency shelter for those who were out of power due to a freak snowstorm. Getting to the fair is easy, but go really early or expect at least an hour in traffic. I'd recommend, instead of taking exit 3, that you take exit 9 and 9B and follow 20 West and take a left on Union Street. It's kind of a shortcut for the locals. Don't be tempted to park too soon on the main road, because the Big E has its own gate, Gate 9, where you can park for the same price and you're a lot closer, and you can also drop off folks who may need to use carts for the little ones or carts for the big ones. I tend to, where the X is I follow past that on the parking and I look for a landmark like Gold's Gym. I take a right at that road, and all of the neighbors who are inconvenienced by this fair turn their front yards into parking lots. And I'd rather support them, so I give them their $5 or whatever it is and walk very short to Gate 4. Once you have your ticket, you can have a walk inside. It's a little confusing, disorienting. You're greeted by the Stinson band organ. As we take a right, we're just following the street down. Normally you would see quite a crowd around noontime. This is basically what it looks like, so keep that in mind. The earlier you go, the better, because around noontime it's bad. So on the left you have the new Chevy cars. They have the same spot every year. And then if you look on your right, we have some animal features. There's somebody having their first pony ride. And then right next to them, the elephant and camel rides. They are photo ops, though I don't think they're particularly PETA friendly. Looking on our map, we're right about here right now. We're headed up that straight road towards the Avenue of States. We're having a look at some of the vendors along the way, and there's all kinds of art to be found. A lot of these places will be glad to hold your bags for you before you leave the fair. You can go pick it up from them, because I tell you, if you carry things in the fair, you will regret it, because everything gets so heavy. It's a good idea to bring a nice tote bag with you that folds, but they don't allow suitcases or anything. Little Pinocchio dolls. There's all kinds of interesting things. Some of the vendors return each year, and you can look forward to seeing some of these things over and over again, and some are very new each year. This is somewhat of a dizzying display. Really fun little hats. And knitted items, woolen items, crocheted items, beautiful children's sweaters and adult sweaters. Of course, nobody's mind is on this right now because it's still kind of warm outside in September. Here's some interesting yard markers and birdhouses. And signs. The Big E is the land of funny signs. This particular shop has a lot of old-fashioned herbs and country-style artifacts. Very quaint. Now these vendors are set up for the entire 17 days, and they have to pay insurance and have lights on, and they are supposed to remain open as the fair is. This is an interesting new addition this year. Candles made out of old bottles of booze and beer. There's one of my favorites. This particular booth had a lot of use with wood and horns and antlers and body parts from animals. Native American stuff. This is really nice etched wood. We always look forward to those bellied dinosaur banks. This is an actual firehouse that's on the grounds, and there are fire and emergency and police units on the grounds themselves. This one's been converted into a little bit of a cafeteria where you can have breakfast or lunch, but they also do have a fire truck in case there's a problem. An interesting cat handbag. There's a feeding pet zoo where the kids and the adults seem to enjoy feeding the grit and gravel to the goats and the llamas and the giraffes and some of the other folks that are in this petting zoo. You put a quarter in the machine and it gives you a big handful of this stuff, and the animals know it, so they hang out there. It is a nice, very tactile one-on-one experience with the animals, and the kids seem to like it, and the old kids seem to like it a lot. Always make sure to wash your hands after you've done something like this. And there are plenty of hand washing stations located around the fair. There's all kinds of lace doilies. These little buildings have actual smoke that burns. Nice pine-scented smoke. And they're replicas of actual buildings. Some of them very vintage. The detail's really remarkable. You can get mirrors or front plates for your car. These are beautiful handbags with photographs embedded in them. And beautiful shawls. These are not children's clothes. Well, actually not children human, but children dogs and cats. These are doggy clothes, and I was just charmed by the amount of style and diversity here.
In just 15 minutes, and it's in parody. And ladies and gentlemen, you can see the sight of the day. It is the biggest, the grandest, the greatest sight on the face of the earth. Traveling with the light and service in all our people than any other.
Isn't that amazing?
This New Hampshire building was built in 1930, and it's owned by the state of New Hampshire, so anything purchased here, there is no sales tax charged. We're heading in now to the entry booth where you can get maps and books on different tourist attractions for New Hampshire. Folks are real friendly here. So we're looking now at some gum machines and some really nice laptop desks for your laptop, going into the fudge area. And these beautiful wooden frames and wooden jewelry, which is very unique. There are a lot of woods up in New Hampshire, so they make do with a lot of the natural products available. And dips are always very popular. They have little packets of seasonings and things you mix with sour cream or other liquids, and you create these great dips. They also have nice catnips, cocoa mixes, teas. This lady has her own loom, and she's made these beautiful shawls and rugs. She was just threading it when I was there. Everybody's very nice and be very happy to talk to you about what they do and how they do it. The lottery is very popular in all of the buildings as well, and you can buy lottery tickets in most of the buildings. Here's some old milk containers. Of course, milk was delivered to people's homes in the old days. Here's a little general store located in the New Hampshire building. These handbags are made out of old blue jeans. Very resourceful. And we're looking at some of the different products and things for sale in the New Hampshire building. A lot of beautiful jewelry. And baby clothes, t-shirts, some etched wood jewelry, and there's food products and quilts, and these are beautiful wooden barrettes. Very unique art used with photographs of architectural items, and this is the most unique in the New Hampshire building this year. They are granite stones that have been drilled into and used now for dispensers and holders for wine bottles or liquor bottles. Very ingenious. And several of the rocks were drilled to create lamp bases, which you'll see up here very briefly. Very great. Granite is quite popular in New Hampshire.
Thank you.
It's been raining.
This is one of my favorite potteries, and I think I'm going to reach for one of the pictures here. It's absolutely beautiful. It's very unique. As my mother would say, it's so ugly it's cute. And I'm having a look through at the different types of pottery they have. Now this wall of smaller vases and bowls, I was looking at a few of them as potential vessels to hold some of my makeup supplies. Next door are the cat and dog toys. The biggest variety of catnip I've ever seen in my life. And cat collars all around, and dog collars all around. Look at them all. My goodness. And here's some fudge, and we have lucked into it. There is a man making fudge in the background. He is mixing nuts into this batch of candy. It's a cold slab of marble that they use. Apparently it works the best for creating candy that doesn't get too sugary. And let's enjoy the crunchy Western boys. We bid farewell to New Hampshire and hello to Connecticut. That's, of course, where I'm from. And the area above Hartford, Enfield, and Windsor is known as a very wonderful area to grow tobacco leaves. These are the outer wrap leaves of fine cigars, and it was made famous in a movie in 1961 called Parish. And Parish starred Troy Donahue, Carl Malden, Claudette Colbert, Connie Stevens, about the tobacco region. Also in Connecticut, Timex watches, and I tend to make this my annual watch gathering trip, so I'm having a look at the different groupings of watches. I have made my decision here. I'm going to grab this one. Nice autumn brown leather strap, lights up at night. Connecticut also has a lot of authors, and they're there for book signings. There's several of them here. And the kids just love Lego. Now, even though Lego is based in Europe, the U.S. headquarters are right up here in Enfield, Connecticut. Now, they have bowls of Lego bits so the kids can create things, and this project was a wall mural that they used little squares and they pasted them on the wall. They always make a creature of some sort. This little boy held hands with this thing the whole time I was there. Really cute. And here's another Lego creature. They make different ones every year, and it's always fun to see what they do. Here I am a few years ago with one of the other Legos. Moving on through the vendors in the Connecticut building. These are wonderful sculptures in metal and wood. And this lady does wonderful, very detailed animal sketches, animal sculptures. She's here every year. Great detail on some of her items. It's always nice to see some of the same vendors each year. Now, a very exciting attraction in the Connecticut building is always the dinosaur exhibit. Now, this particular one usually appears every year. And then we have some smaller dinosaurs that were donated by Yale's Peabody Museum in New Haven. There's a little raptor. And then here's one of those funky looking ones. I guess they were kind of like deer in the old days, this kind. And then I had to refocus my camera. That's a scary looking facial expression. But I happened to look down at this point, and there is a T-Rex foot, and there's my foot. Isn't that cool? You can also get some old-time soda, birch beer, root beer, and you can get it in a tin cup for a nice memento of the fair. Nice old-fashioned orange soda, cream soda. And here's the Connecticut Winery. They did henna paintings, also in the Connecticut building. And recycling was big this year. Here's some recycled door hooks, wall hooks, and some chess sets made out of beer caps, bottle caps. Here's some bird houses made out of license plates. And then the ones in the top, really nice bird shapes to them. Very creative. Here's a seaside scene with some creepy little animal. I think it's a coyote or a wolf, just as scared of us as we are of it. And some seaside bird. And this particular exhibit was showing the joys of camping in Connecticut, which is a very popular pastime with a lot of them. This little girl's discovering a skunk coming out. I love the pumpkin heads. And these folks are roasting marshmallows and living the life. Pez candy is very, very famous. They have different dispenser heads for their dispenser for their hard candy, and very famous collections. And it's mostly adults, not children, that are looking here, including myself. These are all different dispenser collectibles. And I'm looking at the cola flavored Pez candy. Want to see what's going on behind the counter there. There's a set of 5 presidents, and then there's the Hobbit set. Here's the large size Darth Vader and Santa, and then we've got the Halloween heads. Pez. State police are always fun, very friendly, with some safety brochures for you. Right across the way from them is the fluorescent strips, tapes for your animals' collars, or for you if you're walking at night or jogging. It helps make it a safer activity for you. Heading out the door to the Vermont building. Now, Vermont is famous for maple products and cheese. Here's some t-shirts and sweatshirts. And we're going to go over and visit the Cabot cheese counter.
You're welcome. Have a nice day. Hello. Sample some cheddar.
Oh, I'd love some.
Okay. This is a 26-month aged cheddar prior to being cut. It's an extra sharp.
All right.
The other extreme is this one, the Preacher, which is aged only 6 months. So it's not as sharp. And then we have a habanero and a horseradish.
Well, the Preacher sounds good for me. I'm kind of a wimp.
Okay. There you go.
Thank you.
That's aged about 6 months. You may.
Oh, I like that. Thank you.
Cabot cheese is delicious. Here's the Teddy Bear Factory in Vermont, where you can make your own custom bear any size and outfits for it as well. Now, I look forward every year to the organic soap and lotion vendor. They come every year and they have wonderful glycerin soaps and lotions and cleaning products that are environmentally safe. They even have a sink there so you can try things and rinse it off. Over here across the way we've got more dips, and it looks like a cocoa mix in a cone. Everything you need to make a nice cup of hot cocoa. Pretty clever. More dips, soup mixes, and of course everybody enjoys dipping those crackers and pretzels into that dip. Vermont is probably most famously known for its maple syrup and byproducts from that, the candy and sugars, and my favorite, which is the cotton candy. Yep, you have not lived until you have tried maple syrup cotton candy. It's absolutely the greatest byproduct, I think, from maple syrup, next to maple syrup. And here I am getting my sample. Also, they use tree stumps that they use electric saws and create bears and other creatures. Very, very popular to have these in the yard or right next to your doorstep. This guy comes every year and sometimes does live demonstrations where he's actually cutting the wood into the bears. And he scorches them with a flame to make the brown color. It's really quite a cool process. Of course, Vermont is associated with guys in plaid, and here's your flannel plaid shirts, high quality, nice and warm, and the trousers to match. Ben & Jerry's ice cream, outstanding. Started off as a couple guys making just small batches of ice cream, grew into some big industry. Here's some donuts being made. These are nice apple cider donuts. Look at her putting some of this healthy lard in there so it melt down and help create the good flavor that these donuts have. They bake and cook, and then they wind up here and they sprinkle sugar on them, and they're absolutely delicious. Here is the Elixir of the Gods itself, Speeder and Earl's coffee. I absolutely love this coffee. It's one of my favorite in the world. In their general store, they have everything from drawings and paintings to carvings and jewelry, handicrafts, crocheted things, mittens, pottery, dolls, refrigerator magnets, and the funny signs again. And I love these pins. I was particularly attracted to the frog here on the upper right. So let me try to look around at some of the other ones. Hard to hold the camera and do this at the same time. Here they are, different designs. Pretty cool. And some mugs, dishware, more dolls. There's origami earrings that these ladies are looking at. Paper cuttings. Very well done. There's some Christmas ornaments. And we're heading out. The finer jewelry in the case there, and a pot holder. Here's a firewood hot stove pizza. It's really delicious. Some jerky, some meat jerky, and Johnson's woolens. Fabulous stuff for heavier coats and high quality capes. Outside we have a wonderful Willow Bend author and her horse, and then Gramps Loves Me author. Let's head into the main building. Now these paintings and prints were done from photographs and from the guy doing sketches at the actual locations. They're famous lighthouses around New England, and they're kind of all the rage right now. I'm sort of fascinated here with these lobster t-shirts. I'm trying to figure out what they are. And then I'm looking down to see what the design is. Walking through the building, here's the Maine baked potatoes, which are very famous. Lots of people talk about the baked potatoes in the Maine building, and that's what they mean. It's quite a long line to stand to get one, but it is quite good. Maine also has great seafood. It is called vacation land, so people like to fish up there and camp and hunt. They have wild blueberries. They have lots of woods, so they have wood products. Here's some birdhouses and funny signs. Drying racks for quilts and sweaters. And these wonderful dust pans, look at that, made out of old license plates. Very creative. There's some birdhouses and bins. I like the faces with the birdhouses. These cutting boards of inlaid woods show you the talent that these folks have. They're absolutely gorgeous, and then they go through it both sides. And then we've got some great pottery here. And Maine, because of the wood, has nice wooden toys for kids. There's some scented pillows. Usually it's pine scent. Very, very pleasant, and they also have incense. And blueberry products, because they have wild blueberries. Really delicious. Heading out, there's a lobster trap, because Maine lobsters are quite famous. Here's a barbecue parfait, if you can imagine, with baked beans and pulled pork layered on top of each other. Quite popular, and was quite a long line for this. Inside we had some lobster rolls here. Lots of lobster meat on that, and it's kind of a big treat that people look forward to. I look forward to the Wicked Whoopie pies. These are cake filled with cream filling, and there's several flavors from orange creamsicle to chocolate to pumpkin to cherry. A little bit of everything, something for everyone. They're trying to become the sweet of Maine, whereas the Boston cream pie is the sweet of Massachusetts. I love blueberry pie, and you can get it with or without ice cream. And I also took a visit to the blueberry lady.
Twice as sweet than the cultivated ones. They're not related to the cultivated blueberry at all. So,
Oh, really?
yeah, they're related to the cranberry, the cultivated blueberry. That's why they're charred like the cranberry. Wild ones are.
That's amazing.
He's a beautiful moose. Nice moose. And whoopie pie is not
Yeah, that sounds great.
What kind would you like to try?
Well, let's see. No, this is
Golden Road Crunch in honor of the Golden Road. It's really delicious, and it has it's coffee based and it has no baked cookies.
oh, I think I'm going to try the whoopie pie. That just looks too tempting. Great, thank you so much.
And it's $5 for 2 scoops.
She was so nice. Now we have the lotions and moisturizers and lip balms and soaps. We also have soy candles. This is all natural, organic stuff. Really good for you. So let's head over to the Massachusetts building. This wonderful rug vendor is here every year. These beautiful braided rugs, assorted styles. Now they've got pillows as well, cushion covers. The braided rugs, though, are probably what they're most famous for, in wonderful color combinations. These are small little area rugs, bath rugs, kitchen rugs. Really nice. There's that chicken again. This is what it looks like on the floor, and here they are rolled up. Really beautiful. Always, when you visit the Massachusetts building, you should try the Finnish pancakes. They're kind of like a custard consistency, and you can have them with either fresh blueberries on them or warm maple syrup. Absolutely delicious. Here we visit Hardwick Winery.
Oh, that's cool. Thank you.
You have to find one to go. Yeah, we can hold it for you.
And just the cranberry, and I'm debating between these two.
Okay. And the sweet tart.
That's great. Oh, that is tart. I think I'll do the quabbin.
Want a bottle of it?
Sure.
Wonderful apples. Apples of every type. Johnny Appleseed actually was from the area and planted all different types. Here we go with Mrs. Cow.
Yeah.
How about you? Are you having fun at the video?
I'm having a ball.
Can I look at the picture? It's on digital, right? You good?
I am actually going to put this on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
All about the Big E.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You look great.
Well, would you like a cow joke for the video?
A what?
I have cow jokes.
You have a cow joke? Okay.
Would you like a cow joke?
I would love a cow joke.
Why do cows wear bells?
Why do cows wear bells?
Because their horns don't work.
Oh! Cheesy, yeah.
That was a lot of fun. Now here's some healthy snacks for a change. Nice fresh raspberries. The yellow raspberries are very intriguing. Here's some of those lobster hats that people are wearing. And of course, Boston Bruins. Bostonians and Massachusetts folks are very, very loyal to their sports teams. I'm gonna pick up one of those lobster hats and have a closer look. Nope, I can't do it. I'm sorry for the shaky camera. Here's some more Boston shirts. And here's some beautiful stone clocks and decorations, bookends. Oh, look at these candy apples. Oh my goodness. And more assorted fudge, candy corn fudge. All kinds of flavors here. And up here, the individual gourmet candies and truffles. Peanut butter cups.
Can I help you find anything?
Ah, just having a look. Do you still make that chocolate bread?
Yeah, it's right there.
Oh, wow.
Chocolate bread, pumpkin
Get a
spice.
different one for 8, 2 for 7. 2 different breads for $7. You got pumpkin spice, you got oatmeal cinnamon raisin, you got cinnamon burst,
Oh, wow.
bread, you've got seeded rye train whey and pumpernickel, and 100% stone ground wheat for 12 grains.
Oh, wow.
And look at these cupcakes. Aren't they gorgeous? Of course, the sports teams are very popular. Cupcakes. And here is the story of the Boston cream pie, and here it is in the showcase here. The beekeepers are very popular always with everyone, especially the children, and it's always kind of a challenge to find the queen. There's a little bit of concern this year with bees because they're having some problems with bees dying out from a mold that's on some of the crops. And this could become a major problem if it's not controlled soon. Now these are all the byproducts of the honeybee. They make wonderful lip balms and skin creams.
So that ends part 1 of the Big E trilogy, and please click on part 2 so that you can enjoy the next installment. Should be rather exciting. We'll be going and visiting some of the animals and things like that. And then part 3 will have the parade and the rides and some of the exciting things about the fair. So we'll see you next time, everybody. Have a beautiful day. Take care. Toodles.